me anymore. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. One of the greatest thrills that happened to me last year was to win the American Music Award. I'm so nervous I can't read it, of merit. And it gives me a great pleasure to present this year's recipient, the great Mr. Perry Como.
Congratulations. I want to read the inscription that's on here. I'm going to block you for a second. It says, "The American Music Award of Special Merit to Perry Como. Through his music, he has brought the best of America to the world. His talent, his warmth, his integrity, and his longevity has enriched the lives of us all."
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Ellen.
You, Nick, nobody no greater than you, but you deserve it. So many years.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Larry. Grazie.
Well, good night. I thought you were going to bury me out here. Sounds like a eulogy, but it was wonderful. This is quite an honor for me. I don't want to make light of the fact that it is a beautiful award, and I appreciate it very much. She says longevity. Does that mean old?
Whatever you say.
I have been around for quite a few years, and I have a lot of people to thank for my being around. In fact, I've been around so long, and it's kind of nice to be acknowledged by your peers. When I recorded my first song for RCA, there were fingerprints on it from Thomas Edison. Well, oh, this is yours.
Yeah, that was mine.
You notice I don't have any cue cards, and you know, this is kind of a sad spot for me because me being one of the all-time great ad-libbers, you know, I don't need cue cards. You know that if you've watched our shows. After I say good evening, that's about it. I'm worse than Hope. But I don't need cue cards for what I have to say. I'd like to thank a few people who have made it possible for me to stay around for about 40 or 50 years. I want to go back about 15 years to our first television shows. I think they were on for Kraft. Will that be cut out? No. But I had some very bright people on that show. For an example, we had Nick Vanoff, who was a producer. We had Dwight Hemion, who was a director. We had Gary Smith, who was the scenic designer. And to top it all off, we had the daddy of all writers, Goodman Ace. It was a real delight. And of course, with these kind of people, your job becomes very simple, even for 40 years. But I did have a lot of fun, especially with Dwight. Dwight Hemion, I know that you've seen his name and Gary's and Nick Vanoff's on plenty of crawls. That's the thing you see on television shows, you know. They're wonderful. I think they're the finest television people in the world. I can say that because I have the bills to prove it. You know, Dwight was never happy, and I kind of like that in him because he was never happy with a shot coming up, you know, like that, Debbie. You remember the shows. He had the greatest eyeball shots and ear shots, nostril shots. And I say, Dwight, come on, you know. The money is going right down the sewer, you know. He'd say, don't worry about it. But I appreciate that about him. We did that for about 10 years, and I had a lot of fun, a lot of experience, so I'd like to thank them. Then later on, of course, we went into doing what we call television specials, where I was directed and very capably by Bob Banner and his group. I think Bob is here somewhere tonight. And we did shows from different parts of the country. I might add, we did shows from all over the world, which I got a big kick out of. And according to the numbers we got for the shows, you folks also got a kick out of it. So I want to thank Bob and his group, and two people who I couldn't do a show without, nor would I want to do a show without them. They're here too. Nick Perito and Ray Charles. That's about all I have to say, and I just want you to know that I'm very thrilled with this award. And I know there's a very lovely lady somewhere in Florida with a big grin on her face. And but she don't get these kind of things. So when I get home, I'm going to split it with her.